sends the revenue per barrel up. And we address cannibalization. And in this one, the palate profile was so different that they were like, oh, yeah, it's incremental to that. But again, the fact that it was premium priced, like when they would complain about X, Y, and Z, we're like, well, what do you care? We cannibalize them to a higher revenue product. So they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. So there's a little bit of that exercise that, because, you know, there's a lot of things that you could put ranch on that ranch clearly has demand, that the Hidden Valley Ranch brand would do well with. But just closing some doors might actually help you quite a bit. Because, and again, you know, the consumer should be the end-all, be-all, but we all know that politics and the trade matter quite a bit.
Right. Can you speak to some of the metrics you might use either to close some of those doors, you know, beyond the examples you just gave around leveraging jobs from a corporate and a retailer standpoint? And then also maybe some metrics you could use in market to help monitor the success of it.
Yeah. So all of the, you know, actually is, I mean, if you can look at the earnings calls and all the CAGNY, you guys do a CAGNY thing, I assume, right? Look at all the investor presentations and see what people are talking about. And some of this may be just, you know, not new news to you there, but like, you know, if you gave senior management a plan to get to $1 billion, everybody would be happy about that. But there are certain itches that you need to scratch that not only, so Wall Street wants to see growth, but they're picky about what exactly what they want to see, right? CPG is under siege, and I'm going to make up some stuff, right? It's like, you know, hey, millennials are walking away. Oh, if your new efforts are bringing back millennials and you get to $1 billion, that'll drive the multiple, and that'll get you more resources to get senior management to pay more attention with it. Or if it's like, you know what, you know, we're all in on helping rejuvenate the center of store, and therefore blah, 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 right? Or if it's small format retail is what's happening, and therefore we have to get into snacking and this and that. Or I'm not sure what it is, but I suspect that those signs are there already, in that that, you know, and again, if you, easy enough to take a look, but just go you know, use that as a fodder to say, because what you really want to do is present 2 to 3 paths to $1 billion, and to see, you know, and some of them may be, you know, they'll get, not that any of them will be easy, but that they'll tease out what's important to you. Like, right, if you had a declining business and you were deathly afraid of covering fixed costs, then someone might there say, you know what, I'd rather you give me $100 million of revenue in this category, some of the brand there, versus $200 million, you know, stuff like that. Like there's always a dollar should be a dollar, but it not always is. And deciphering that is actually a really important one. And the Steve Hughes ConAgra one, that was really simple because it just came from the top. It was, I had a heart attack, make me better food, right? And you know that closed door will help a tremendous amount. Exploring it casually with the buyer can be interesting because they might give you clues as to what they might accept versus not, right, with it. I would say that there's the more that you can, if you have a friendly customer, that can be your greatest asset because, like, you know, I'll tell you another story is the ballpark hot dog business. This is one I write about in the book. It's doubled in the last 10 years, sales from like $250 million to $500 million. Now, Angus hot dog, that innovation was a huge part of it. And the story of how that came about was the guy that was running it, Steve Clapp. You know, he had this kosher plant that was way underutilized, and you know, they didn't know what they were doing, and nor did they couldn't run it well. They didn't have a good kosher brand, and they didn't want to compete against Hebrew National. And so he wanted to shut it down, but he knew that he had to add some price premium to the portfolio. And so he asked his food scientists, like, what can we do? And they're like, well, we can make an Angus hot dog, and I would cold process it, and da-da-da-da. And it basically